Okay, here we are going to install our powered subwoofer in a 2008 Saturn Astra. We're choosing the Infinity Basslink, the first model, to install here. And this features a 20 amp built-in fuse, so we're going to make sure we use at least a 25 or 40 amp fuse in the line. And basically to start the job here, we're going to start by disconnecting the negative battery cable. To do that, we just remove this one bolt with a 10mm. Come around to the back door here. This molding just pulls right straight up, and there's clips that hold this in. These pull straight up as well. Be very careful because these are pretty small clips. You don't want to break these. Looks like they're pretty easily replaceable. So underneath this molding, we can see there's a nice wire channel here that they have in the car to run wires between the front and the back. We're going to get this all taken apart here to run our power, and then we're going to try and tap into these speaker wires and the rear speakers to be able to power the, or to be able to feed the sound to the subwoofer. There's one trick to removing this piece. If you look at how the end of it is, just lift back, pull back slightly on this piece, and then push out. I want to mention that you want to start by pulling up on this piece right here in the back, and then work your way toward the front. And these front ones, looks like it's easier if you pull the molding out first, the rubber molding, and then you can see the points at which we can pry up and release these clips pretty easily with something rubber. Actually, the clips, looks like the clips are right next to those white pieces. There's the clip right there. And here's another one right here. There's a third one here, so I'm using my tool to release those. And then there is an important thing to note here. This is a straight pin, just to guide the location of that. I'll give you the overview here. Okay, and taking this apart, the easiest thing to do is to slide this whole panel up. It unhooks at the end. This piece here slipped underneath where it came from, and we lost one clip in the process. One of these metal pieces popped off of the clip. It fell inside this hole. Not sure how we're going to get that out of there, but it could cause a rattle if we don't. Okay, this is a little tough to believe, but this particular clip right here popped off. Fell down into this hole here, which goes down about 6 inches, it seems. The tool you'll need to get the clip out. There's the clip that fell in. It's covered in some kind of greasy stuff. The tools that you'll need to get that clip out are a knitting needle with some duct tape wrapped around the end of it. And what you want to do is fold the duct tape so that it's sticky side out. And then what you want to do is you go down into the hole, use a very, very small flashlight, such as this unit right here. Very small, compact, can shine it down the hole. Very small beam, otherwise you won't be able to see it. And then you take the needle, and what you want to do with this is the only way it will work. If you get the clip positioned laying flat inside, you can then take this, kind of jam it inside like this, and then pick it up very carefully through the hole. Okay, here's where we're going to tap into the wires. It looks like the speaker wires are the ones that are in the twisted pair. As you can see here on the passenger side, it's the white. On the driver's side here we are. There's also a twisted pair. It looks like it's the green, brown, green. Okay, here we're going to run the wires to tap into the speaker level outputs of the current system. The easiest way to snake the wire is to go underneath this piece, pop this piece up. If you can see, it goes right in through there. It's the gray wire, and then it pops out on the outside around this side here. So that's the easiest way to route the wiring in through there. You can pull this back a little bit without taking it off, or without taking any of the seats out either, which is nice. Okay, to get through the grommet, which is used, I guess, in the old Astras for the throttle cable, you'll want to use a drill bit. I used the 3/8 drill bit for a 8-gauge wire here. And the way I got the grommet out right from this hole right here is that I used a awl to push it into the car and then popped it out. This is the American Astra with the right drive steering wheel. Okay, for the ground connection, we're going to use the nice lag bolt here. It seems like there's not a lot of paint on it. Checked it with a meter. That's going to work. That's a Torx, and we're going to use that for our ground. Okay, some notes on the final power hookup. What we did here is we hooked up the 8 gauge wire to this bolt. Awesome size on the Astra. You just simply remove the bolt, put your connection on, and tighten it up. And we routed the cable back through underneath the antifreeze carefully and into our grommet right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie wrap this up to the existing tie wrap, probably right up in here. So that way we have a nice clean finish and our wire isn't resting on anything. We've got easy access to the fuse that came with this. And that should do it under the hood. When we're very done, we'll be hooking up the negative battery cable, which again is very easy to get to on the Astra. Okay, here we go. We are basically threading the wire for the power back to the boot or hatch. And what we're going to do is we first ran through the speaker wire and we snuck those underneath. Speaker wires on both sides, and what we did is we pulled a little extra speaker wire through on the driver's side. We taped our power lead through it, and we're hoping to use that to snake it back up under, and we're going to come out right in this area here, right underneath this piece here, so that way nothing will get pinched, it won't interfere with the seat, and we don't have to remove the seat. Okay, here we are doing the final wiring where we tap into the speaker wires. And right now it looks like we will be able to tell from the online information that I saw. It's white, brown, white on the passenger and green, brown, green on the driver. And it looks like on this particular assembly these wires are in a twisted pair already. So if you're not sure which white wire, for example, there's 2 white wires in this bunch, it's the ones that are in the twisted pair. Same thing goes on the driver's side. On the driver's side, the wires were in the twisted pair. You can see the green and the brown green there. The interesting thing is on these wires, it looks like the trace looks like it's actually the green on there, but you can tell they're paired up together. Even if you look down further in the wiring, you can see they're twisted as a pair, and those are the speaker wires. Okay, here we are, ready to do our final testing. We've powered up the car with the negative battery cable. And we've added the fuse into our power wire at the front of the vehicle, and in our powered subwoofer here we have a 20 amp fuse in the back and a 30 in the front. The wire is good for up to a 40 amp fuse. Now, before we connect the speakers and power up the stereo, we don't want to make a bad assumption about these wires over here that we tapped into. And what we're going to use to test that is just some little pigtail stub wires you can see right here. And what we've done is plug those into the connector that goes into the powered subwoofer right there, plugs into those. And we are going to use a AA battery to make sure that we have the right speaker. And sure enough, the speaker clicks, and I will test the other speaker, and we're good to go, ready to power up and test it out. And here we have the final product, the Infinity Basslink. Let's take a peek at the wiring here. We left plenty of extra wiring so we can disconnect. The subwoofer has to be completely removed to get this carpeting in and out. So you pop the speaker wires and then the power can stay connected. And that concludes the installation. What we have remaining to do is just install some trim pieces here on the 2 sides of each door. And as you can see, everything is pretty tidy here. There's our power wire coming through, and we've got our speaker taps that we taped up here. Thanks, and good luck with your own installation.